Welcome to LeadsCon Live, a place where you'll hear great conversations with movers and shakers about the latest trends in the lead generation industry. LeadsCon Live is the home for all things lead generation. Now, your host, Michael Faree.
Welcome everyone to LeadsCon Live 2015. As we said, we're here in Las Vegas. We've got clowns walking behind the cameras, making faces at us. But we are broadcasting live, as many of you guys know, listening in on LeadsCon.com now. I am joined with Alex Baydin today from PerformLine. How's it going, Alex?
Going great. Hi, Mike.
So you guys you're participating tomorrow in a panel, right?
That's right.
So what are you guys going to be talking about?
So tomorrow we are talking about some of the compliance challenges, in particular around the lending vertical. There's been a lot of activity in lending. It's with interest rates at record lows, as well as the emergence of a lot of new personal loan companies. It's been great for lead generators and for loan providers, but at the same time, while there's growth, there's a heightened focus on compliance and regulation.
Yeah.
So both the FTC and the CFPB are really kind of sharpening their focus on this sector again.
Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. What we should probably do is take a step back.
Okay.
For those that don't know anything about PerformLine, tell us a little about what you guys do and what are you up to?
Sure. So PerformLine is the leading marketing compliance platform and technology company. We have a SaaS offering that allows marketers in regulated industries to mitigate risk, save time and money through our technology, and also protect their brand. Really along any channel that they're using to communicate to acquire new customers or to communicate to existing customers.
Cool.
So we do that a few different ways. We have a discovery engine that helps find brands online in areas they may not know where their brand appears, especially if they're working with a lot of third-party publishers or affiliates. And we have a rule engine that looks at the placement of that brand and the content that surrounds it and says, hey, is there anything in here that could get this marketer, this company in trouble for a language that is a misrep and may run south of some of the compliance rules. And that's what we do on the web. We do it in search, we do it in display, we do it in lead gen on the web. And then we also have a fast-growing contact center monitoring business where we partner with both internal contact centers and third-party contact centers, and we monitor their agents on the phone. So we say, hey, is this agent saying something that potentially could tarnish your brand? And that's a really uncontrolled environment, so having some technology and controls and measures there, very valuable. And then we also help those same customers with agent performance. So not only is the conversation, is it compliant or not, but is the agent saying what they need to do to help you acquire a customer?
You know, that's interesting because I think over the last couple of years, and specifically here at LeadsCon, there's a lot of conversations around call leads. In fact, we had a buyer summit where we just had buyers in the room. And yesterday I moderated a conversation in the education vertical. Okay. And the people in the room were talking about call leads. Some people were absolutely against it, and others were absolutely for it and loved it. But the reason why those people that were against it was usually because of regulatory issues and not having a real tool to monitor what's going on these third parties. So you guys offer that sort of solution for them.
Yeah, I think like anything else, you know, if it's a channel that can provide scale and can help you grow your business, I think as a marketer you have to explore it, but you have to do it in a manner where you have the controls you need to make sure that quite frankly, the risk doesn't outweigh the benefit, and our contact center monitoring solution is exactly that type of tool.
Yeah.
What's a common way to implement our tool, especially in the education space, is for a buyer of education leads to mandate to their call center partners that, hey, if you're going to sell me call center generated leads, you need to make available all your recordings to PerformLine so that I can make sure that your employees have our brand in mind and our guidelines for compliance.
So does the buyer have to mandate, or can they receive those calls and then pass it to you? Is there a specific communication process
so we do all the heavy lifting. So really all the buyer, all our client needs to say to their third-party call center vendors is, hey, we're working with PerformLine. Please let me introduce you to this member of the PerformLine team, and they'll take it from there, and we do everything else.
And then you do everything. It's easy. Yeah. So it should be noted, too, that you guys won a couple awards with Leeds Council, which is voted on by Leeds Council members, and they designated you guys best compliance monitoring, right?
Yeah. So we're really honored to have won a handful of Best Compliance Monitoring Awards in education, in mortgage. We won an innovation award in insurance. We've also been recognized for just kind of the overall value of the technology.
And you came up runner-up in Executive of the Year award, which is no small deal either. Because not only was the Leader Award voted on by people, it's also the Executive of the Year award was also voted on by members, over 300 members that decided that you were right up there at the top. So that's pretty great too.
Yeah, thank you. That's really humbling.
I mean, we had 40. We had I think 30 to 40 nominees.
Wow.
So
that's a big deal.
You may not have won.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I feel like I've won.
But I think it's a pretty good recognition, nevertheless.
No,
that you're doing some good things.
Yeah,
over there.
that's really great to get that sort of acknowledgement.
Yeah.
And to me, it's acknowledgement for the team. We've got great people on the team. And our clients have been, this is acknowledgement for our clients because they've given us a lot of feedback that has helped us to make better product, deliver better services, but it feels great. Thank you.
Yeah, well, congratulations. So is, when we talk about scrutiny and regulatory issues, is it getting easier? Is it still pretty heavy on these guys? Are they getting a handle of it? What's sort of the temperature of regulatory scrutiny and maybe different, maybe just education? I don't know if it's across the board or what.
So a couple of things in there, right?
Yeah.
So the scrutiny is getting heavier.
Yeah, okay.
If you can imagine. So for example, the FTC just came out with a study where they looked at, they're now publishing their complaint boards. So we're the highest number of complaints around misreps on advertising. And
is there a vertical? Do you notice it? Was it credit cards? Or
yeah. So the number one vertical is identity theft, which I guess is not that big a surprise. But number 5 is lending. Banks.
Oh wow.
And I think number 3 is debt.
Okay.
So consumer finance is getting a
was
lot.
education on there, or
the FTC didn't look at education.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I think that's just based on kind of who's looking at what verticals. So a lot of pressure on the consumer finance sector. I think the overall education is higher. So whereas we had this conversation 4 years ago, and I think companies were just starting to figure out what they were going to do to get compliant and to build a compliance monitoring system, right? Which requires a few different things. Now I feel like more of the buyers are educated, right? They kind of know they have a plan of attack, and that plan of attack can take a few different forms.
And it's not just buyers, right? I mean, we're talking buyers, but it's anybody
well.
that's generating a lead online.
That's right. Whether that's generating a lead or reaching out to a consumer.
Yeah, because how does tell me about this and tell the listeners about how a buyer. Why does a buyer need to have use PerformLine with their partners? And vice versa, why does a seller need to work with PerformLine?
Sure.
Are there different, or is it all the same?
Yeah. So
because really, what we're talking about is, I'm a buyer and you're a seller. I'm asking you to use PerformLine, correct?
Right. Well, on the call center side, So you're asking me as a call center operator to submit my audio. It doesn't cost me anything. Right. But to help create more transparency.
Right. But also
we do have seller clients
too.
Yeah. So we have clients on the sell side as well.
Yeah.
And they want to make sure that all the assets that they're putting out in market are compliant, and that can help them gain better trust and credibility with their clients, with their buyers. It can help the sellers themselves avoid regulatory penalties, right, and scrutiny and lawsuits. And it can help them if they have a network or they're getting traffic, police their own partners.
Yeah.
So there's really an opportunity for both sides of the transaction to standardize their compliance practice on our dashboard, on our platform.
So with all the scrutiny that you mentioned in lending, are the mortgage buyers, are they recognizing it? Are they starting to feel the heat a little bit and starting to realize, hey, I really need to do something about this now? I mean, are they starting to kind of?
Yeah. So the big mortgage loan providers have been on top of this for a while.
Okay.
So now you're seeing it go from the primary, the banks, the big national lenders to kind of that secondary and tertiary market. So the regional folks. So now we're engaged in quite a few conversations with mortgage lenders that have maybe 200 loan officers to 1,000 loan officers. Right, and they're trying to build a scalable compliance practice.
Got it.
And 3 of them were just unfortunately 3 mortgage companies were just penalized by the CFPB for misreps, aligning themselves with government, making it look like they were aligned and sponsored by the government and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of heat there. Yeah.
Rough. So let's look at 2015 regulatory trends. I mean, is it? I sort of asked you this already, but is it? I mean, is it? What do you see on the horizon from a regulatory standpoint? Is the FTC still going to be taking strong actions? Is it coming from the CFPB? Are they working together? It seems like more now.
So they are working together quite a bit. I think you're going to see more regulatory actions. You're going to see larger fines.
Yeah.
You're going to see more state attorney generals getting into the mix. So the challenge is, if you are a company and you do have an issue, you may have to deal with several entities, right, to settle or get out from under it. You may have to deal with state attorney generals. You may have to deal with private attorneys and consumer class actions, and you may have to deal with the CFPB, the FTC, the DOE. So yeah, it's a big issue. But the good news is, PerformLine's here to help. There's other companies that can provide services and solutions around compliance that can help you.
What if I just said, well, but I'm not doing anything wrong? What do I need to be worried about if I'm not doing anything wrong? Is there something more there around content and messaging that I am not aware of if I just think I'm doing everything right? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think
like if
so.
I'm out there, if I've got my mortgage website and I feel I've got everything on there that seems it's accurate rates and I'm following all the disclaimers and disclosures. What's my major concern with the CFPB that they're going to come? Is it around content? Is it something else?
Yeah, I think in a scenario like there's very few scenarios where no other companies are somehow touching your brand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So even if you are doing everything right, or you believe to be, unless you're getting all of your traffic through organic search.
Yeah.
Right. There's a chance that there's some other third party that has their hand in your lead acquisition, and it's very likely that they could be doing something with your brand. So that's an issue. And then you also have to worry about other companies basically stealing your brand and using your logo and the credibility that you've created to drive traffic to their offer. And we see that quite a bit. So that whole concept of like trademark protection is part of what we help our clients with.
Got it. So how does someone get a hold of you? If they have other questions about what's going on with PerformLine, want to learn more about your product, how do they get a hold of you?
Sure. Well, if you're at LeadsCon, come see us at our booth, 906. You can email me, alex@performline.com. You can go to our website, performline.com, and hopefully you'll hear back from us shortly. It shouldn't be hard to get a hold of us.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you sitting down and talking to us about PerformLine and what's going on. Thanks,
Great.
Alex.
Thank you, Mike.
You got it. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Thank you for joining us today at LeadsCon Live. Join us again for the next conversation and stay on top of the latest happenings with lead generation.